Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. Okay, we're just about to get the open here. Have another bite of food come in. Okay, that's kind of interesting. You see a couple of bots turn on there. Looks like they're buying it though. We are above the VWAP. Could take this. We might get an inside day though. So let's look at the charts. We are in yesterday's range. We weren't really able to get past some critical areas there. There is that 5 there. Well, let's just wait and let this develop. Maybe we take it when it comes back on the other side. What about the E-mini? Okay, E-mini did take a, didn't really go yesterday. Maybe they try to recover today, but I think that they might try and push them down. That could push us up and continue. So that might cancel out what we're seeing in ZN. ZB. It just seems like a little bit too much distribution down here in all of them, to be honest. Interesting. Where it stops in ZF. Okay. Well, I think you could buy that. So even though my longer term bias is down, I think it might go through here. Okay. Well, they're not quite ready to do it yet. And then I have another bite of food, and I think there's news today too. Let's see here. Okay, Bitcoin took quite a tumble, and it's quite significant in terms of cumulative delta too. I think we're gonna get more out of this. Hold on. Ooh, okay. Forex Live, Goldman Sachs shells plans to build a crypto trading desk report. I will link it to you in the Bitcoin channel. Let's open up the Squawk. Okay, so we're in news. Today's Wednesday. Okay, so we got labor productivity quarter for quarter in Canada and trade balance. So important news. They do appear to be buying it. What was that? 1. It's not enough of a move for me to fade it, but we might fade it, and when the news comes out. Okay, well, they're not quite ready to take it in the 10-year. I don't know. Yeah, but we got news, so let's not do that. And then just here in the Bitcoin futures, looks very much short, so I'm going to take a picture of that.
Just a heads up, then just under 3 minutes time till we get the release of the US data. Just recapping quickly the estimates. US-wise trade balance for July looking for a deficit reading of 50 spots. 3 billion Canadian trade balance-wise looking for a deficit of 1.13 billion Canadian dollars. At the same time, get the release of the labour productivity rate for the second quarter, where we're looking for a print of spot 4%. And we'll also get the release of exports and import numbers for July.
Okay. So I'm just looking through my charts here to see if there's any levels that I really want to pay attention to. See, we're right at the pivot where we were yesterday. Like 092 is just kind of like where it's like the single print. So 085. We've auctioned everything overnight pretty solidly. I do have to remember it was the ZB that kind of moved us, so we should keep an eye on that. We're going to want to see the orders here.
1 minute.
Okay, so the number is negative 50.2. And since they've been buying it up into the news, I want to, if the news is good, I want to sell it. That's my plan.
US trade deficit reading of 50.1 billion, Canadian trade balance deficit of 0.11 billion.
Pretty close.
Exports in at 51.27 billion, imports 51.38 billion, and the labour productivity in at 0.7%. Also hearing that Canada's total crude oil imports rose 96,000 barrels per day to 611,000 in July. That's versus 515,000 in June, according to StatsCan. We do have some revisions for the trade. The numbers for the prior on the US trade balance has been revised to a deficit of 45.7 billion versus a previous prior of 46.3. Canada trade balance wise, the prior has been revised to a deficit of 0.74 billion versus a previous prior of 0.63 billion. Exports have been revised upward to 50.86 billion on the prior, and imports have also been revised upward to 51.6 billion versus a previous prior of 51.32. We've got more data on the Canada crude oil imports and exports, which we'll put on our board.
Pretty uneventful action so far. No big orders went through. Nobody wants to play. I don't know, kind of looks like nobody wants to play.
Quiet. Hey,
Just
Waddle,
as we head closer into the US equity
I appreciate
session, we
it.
are seeing risk appetite globally suppressed almost. Emerging market stress emerging. Some of the currencies, such as the rand and peso, under pressure.
I'm actually getting
also
mine.
seeing EM equity benchmark.
Oh,
Market
very nice.
threshold.
Congrats.
NAFTA-wise, just a reminder as well that US and Canadian negotiators are set to resume talks to revamp NAFTA despite Trump's threats to walk away. Those talks resuming today.
Zerb, I'm getting married in a couple weeks. I had posted a picture yesterday that I got my marriage license, my fiance.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm still long.
More of a weather update here. NHC saying Florence becomes a major hurricane, the first of 2018 Atlantic hurricanes.
And I got this 18 and 19 as a pretty important kind of line for the test on the flow. However, kind of what indexes are really configured. Older again, and DAX is at year-to-date lows. Eurostock that on. You just kind of everything flips. You might see bond. Pretty bad seasonality on the third day of the trading month, especially if it's trading up.
Curve structure is pretty quiet. 5s, 10s, a bid, negative quarter point. 5s, 30s, bid, negative quarter, and then 10s, 30s are bid, negative half.
It's really strong ISO.
Yeah, it's the highest since May 2008.
I had a pretty good correlation between the year-over-year change in the PMI versus T-bond.
Synergy news.
I'm gonna step away for just a second now. See it do anything. My feet are cold.
Even though it is a reversal, of course. In equity news as well, we are seeing Continental shares sliding 2% in a volume spike. We're just looking into reasons for that.
Tens are strong. European rates. That's as
I'm waiting to see if the bond wants to fail VWAP mid here. The downside.
Yeah, it seems a bit.
Averaging 5,000 contracts per 5-minute interval over the last 30 minutes in the 10-year. So pretty horrible volume.
Here's an equity curve for buying bonds today on the system.
Wow. Oh, that's
Based on, let's see, yesterday bonds opened down, traded down. Today bonds opened up. Oil is down. Yesterday, buy at 820.
how far back does that go?
Short a little bit at 02 here.
Oh, I see. So is that's like the back tested results?
And you basically made
It's a really good curve, though.
what matters is your average expectation versus standard deviation. So your average expectation over since 2011 was like
It's an
1/3 of
equity
a
news
point.
saying
With
from
standard
Fitch
deviations of
maintaining whip
2/3 of a point,
ratings
which is
on
pretty
watch
good.
negative.
Ratio no more than like 2 to 1.
I was getting a little bit suspicious there because when we were up a tick, it really didn't look like they were going to stop it if they decided to go long. But then when we did tick down, they did stack a little bit there. Still seems a little, I don't know, too obvious.
Start legging short a little bit here in the 2-year. 20. Yeah, I'm short like a quarter lot. 20 and 3/4 in the 2-year.
Yeah, I think the equities are gonna dictate bonds. We can't catch a bit because we tested this area already 3 times in the S&P in 28.85. I don't really believe in bottoms or whatever, so it's gonna be weak. We could see bonds bid up. 2885, or the low from the Globex low in the S&P. That was kind of like the all-time high before back in February. It definitely seems like anybody who was like after February, they thought, and we slowly grind it back up. You're wrong. Well, now we can have.
Let's see what the guys on YouTube think about this. Oh, yeah, I stepped away for a second to get socks. I forgot to get socks. I don't know, man. There's not a lot of money to be made here unless you're short Bitcoin. The one thing I do see that might be telling us something is the currencies. That JPY decides to move up, we could bust. Okay. Well, 14 is still in my unknown zone. Like, if you're going to go short, it's got to be at 20, right? The JP Morgan of Brazil. There you go. I mean, if you want to go short, it would be at 02, and you could probably get filled. 5-year does seem to indicate that it's not going to go any higher. Everything that we see looks kind of uncertain and rangy. Damn, it's been now 30 minutes since the open, and we've moved 3 ticks. So I think my strategy says we got to do that. Might not get filled.
I'm bid 13s in the 30-year. Cover that position. Here to hold on to it. Still short a quarter lot from 2s in the 10-year. Short 20, 3/4, 2-year. All really just small lots. I'm just trying to get a feel for things. $666 in the queue, 30-year.
It's starting to look doubtful that I get filled.
Now the bund is acting like it does want to fail. That looks like a textbook failure there. The mid and VWAP, but Treasuries don't want to come down with it.
Well, ZB did come down a little bit there, but man, the rest of them are just dead. Okay. Good grief. Yeah, you said that too, huh, Zerv? I'm betting there was a ton of guys that had maybe sold O2 and decided that they only wanted to take a tick out of it. That's like a level where it should go lower or not stay there. I'm not so sure about that. I think that between really the attractor is going to be 120 long term. Like you see, I got that 13B there. Now, of course, there's been a lot of volume in 015. So somewhere in here, you have this down move.
These 10s are sticky.
It came back. This is balanced right here. It's come back to balance, and it appears that nobody wants to take it or do anything.
5 stick. Shots at the low there. Off.
Yeah, I still consider it summer trading until the ADP report comes through. Yeah. But that you see that iceberg at 092 in the 5-year? That kind of scared me out of wanting to go short. Oh, look, it fell. Yep, I never would have gotten filled.
Just in geopolitical news here, we are hearing from the NBC saying China eases economic pressure on North Korea.
Man, those ETBs, that was probably the easiest trade in the last 2 weeks, just to leg into a couple lots. I'll be back with the S&P. Still long for these. Got any yesterday.
out at 20 and 3/4 in the 2-year. A second quarter position.
Wow. I mean, so now that I missed the O2, so if I had been short O2, man, I don't know. I think this could continue. Oh man, this is the worst time to start. Okay, so there's a 1. I feel like that coin let me down. Oh man. But I mean, it is just not. But I mean, is it normal it just stays there at this time of day? Yeah, I mean, kind of. Like, the reason why I was trying to get filled short at O2 was I said, for us to sit here at the highs for 30 minutes, that's not normal. That's a fade trade right there. Now that I missed that one, they really didn't give you much opportunity to get filled. I mean, I could have hit into 0.15, but I just, that doesn't fit my criteria. So, you know, could we go down through here? I think, but I don't want to just sell into fives.
Just in fixed income news here, we are hearing from a JP Morgan survey that US investors most net short on dated treasuries.
Did to cover this tiny position.
See, so there's your hitting the VWAP and people taking it off. So it's difficult here to call if we're going to go through the VWAP or not, though my gut feeling is that we will go through.
I'm filled. That was +3.
And yeah, now they're trading along the view up, but the ZB went down there. That's a little odd. And a big offer showing up at 12. We better keep an eye on that one. That's a little fishy.
Just an energy news here.
Also want to point out,
Census data. US crude oil exports fell to 2,139,000 barrels per day in July. That's versus 2.2 million barrels per day in.
There's nothing really there at the high. Okay, now they're hitting into 120. So now we're in a spot where I feel like I could take it. And be careful because there's a bit of a profile step right here. Yeah, they took that one really easily.
Just in Canadian equity news here, we are hearing from Moody's saying that Canadian banks will continue to benefit from underlying strength system in the next year and a half. We will get that piece on our board.
Okay. That's a good one. I know it was only 2 ticks, and I'd rather get 3, but you know, I knew there was a step there, so you know, it was a good trade, I think. You know, below 30.5.
Just in Brexit news, we're just hearing Germany and the UK are said to drop key Brexit demands.
Yay! That's good. Well, it could continue. Is there going to be 3 there? Yeah. So this is hard because that was what I didn't want to deal with, but I could have gotten filled.
Just to repeat that, Germany and the UK are said to drop key Brexit demands. That's why we're seeing now cable jumping over 120 pips.
There you go.
Okay, I'm should have caught it there, but bidding 20 and a half to cover, 20 and a quarter, the 2-year to cover half this position, about 3,000 in the queue. I don't know, I might take 20 and a half. Wasn't paying attention there. was a pretty aggressive sell in the cross T-plex, really. You sold Eurodollars like.
Just on that Brexit headline that came down regarding Germany and the UK, sincere apologies on behalf of the team. We are experiencing technical difficulties on one of our lines, and hence it wasn't a case of it being missed when it came out, being late on the job, if you like. So again, a sincere apologies. We are looking to try and resolve these technical difficulties as soon as possible.
They woke up and just decided to sell the shit out of buns.
It's probably that Brexit news that just came over the wire.
Oh yeah.
I think that kind of news would normally be like a push, but some of the Squawk guys are saying that they were actually a little bit late on it, so I don't think that the market got it all at once. Funny how you get those 3 ticks, and then it's like they always want to try and fight there every time. I think there's probably some trader out there, some really big trader that literally just takes 2 to 3 ticks, and he's big enough, that's why he does it that every time. And if you only want to take 2 to 3 ticks, you have to beat him to the punch. We can move this over here. I think that it would be less out of the way. And we can clear it too, because none of these. I find this whole thing right here, this area, now being a vacuum basically. That's really, really interesting. And I mean, there's a little bit right there to stop it, but it's not. I mean, it's nothing crazy at 30.
A bit of an iceberg there. Low. Bit traded.
So nothing crazy. So like, it kind of looks to me like there's still a lack of interest, I guess.
I'm filled on half the position in the 2-year. Flat +2 of it. I'm flat +2 of half of it.
I think you got to move down, right? You're right at this step. So we were here, right? We moved down to here. I think there's going to be people taking profits you want to get out before equities goes to see which way equities is going to go. So maybe we stop here. We might even go up a little bit, and we can let equities do their thing and maybe take a trade after that and try to just take another small one. You know, because we got to make sure that we don't end the day at a profit. That would be unacceptable.
Let's start watching 10-year at 119.30, 119.28.5. Just kind of, oh, that's just where I'm gonna look for a test. Same with the 30-year. I'm gonna watch 5 to 2. The 5-year, I've got 7 to 6.5. It's kind of an old level. It's unrelated to the last two, or between yesterday's profile and last night's profile. It just happened to be for a majority of the volume traded. The main level in the 5-year is obviously down at 4.5.
Well, it's gone back and forth there at 30.5 quite a bit now, hasn't it? Somebody trying to hold a spot there. Didn't hold. Okay, they finally took 30.
And just ahead of the US cash equity open, our cash equity on the board.
Just getting some comments from Feds Bullard repeating that the
Bidding
Federal
the
Reserve
second
should
half of
hold
this
off on
2-year
further
position.
rate rises, saying the Federal Reserve should place more weight on financial
At
market
20.
signals.
So let's get
Bullard
filled.
repeating flattening yield curve and inflation expectations. indications suggest monetary policy already neutral or possibly somewhat restrictive.
Yeah, the E-mini is really moving up on. I think that they like that Brexit news, but I don't know. Seems a little odd the degree of move that we're getting pre-market here. Of course, getting a move here in the 7 to 7:30 hour like this is a little odd in general. The 10-year, and they sure are absorbing a lot down here. So I think that there's a lot of people taking profits. Definitely could have held it though for 4.
We're going to 29.5 there in the
So this is where in past days I would take a fade here. But I don't want to trade against the trend.
I went ahead and took 20.25 in the 2-year over the rest of the position. Applied everything.
Okay, now we're seeing something. I'm seeing something odd. There's a big order here at 0.7.5 in the 5-year. Here in the 10-year, I'm not really seeing a ton below us, like that they're ready to pivot. But that offer looks awfully suspicious. Another thing that's interesting is you've got a lot of people looking to buy it down here in the 30-year. So here too. So we'll see what happens when it ticks down, but I think that we might be running into some supply here now. Now is not a good time to make a trade though with the mini going. I'm just looking through the headlines in politics, and it looks like today is going to be much the same as yesterday. And yesterday was kind of a crappy. There was a lot of propaganda flowing around. There wasn't anything interesting. It's just kind of ugly, nasty, partisan bullshit. Okay, well, you are seeing a 6 at 29.5. And that was where the iceberg was, too. Oh, okay. Let's clear this. You see this? So there's a big one in ZF. There's still this over here. Looks suspicious to me. Look at that. So they ticked down and took it. Yeah. Wow, look at that iceberg there.
traded 116 contracts into yesterday's low. 2.
Not the strongest open
Just in
so
Brexit
far.
news on that headline that came down earlier that Germany's prepared to accept a less detailed agreement on the UK's future economic and trade ties with the EU in a bid to get a Brexit deal done. That was Bloomberg reporting that, citing an unnamed source. So for now, we don't have official confirmation on this. It's being reported by Bloomberg, and as just said, it's from an unnamed source. So, of course, we're looking, and we will continue to look, get confirmation via German government spokesman, perhaps, or an EU official themselves. Also see if other wires do corroborate the same.
Okay, now the 5-year is showing big size at 06.5.
I mean, we drifted all the way back up to yesterday's pit mid in the ES. Let's see.
Somebody's definitely taking it short down here, but I don't know if they're going to be able to hold that.
The last 2 minutes and 30 seconds, they've bought a net amount of 6,000 contracts in the 10-year. Like the delta for that 5-minute bar is now 76. They're buying the 10-year down here.
It looks like that was a bad signal.
So the future actually held yesterday's low, but the 30-year cash index made a new high today. Yield got to 3.074. Yesterday's 7.1. 30-year. Do what they want to do.
Yeah, squeeze this out.
Nice, worked hard into 30 10K. Okay.
Wow, they just blew right through that at 04. Man, did I just see 1,000 trade into 04 just in a tick like that? That was crazy. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, look at that. Huh.
And just a reminder that in 10 minutes' time, we get data from the US. This will be the ISM US New York index for August. We don't have a forecast for this, but if you remember last month, July, it came in at 75, which was its highest reading since 6, came amid increases in quantity of purchases, prices, pressures intensifying. So we're looking for likely another good sized number. 75 actually compares with 55 recorded previous month of June. So it was a huge leap there. 75. Can it hold those levels? Find out in 10 minutes time. We also get with this the ISM New Business Conditions Index August. Again, no that one. So we're actually going to be focusing on.
I honestly think it should scratch this. Well, it looks like they want to do battle here at 29.5, so I'm just gonna get out of the way.
So cables leap up to 129.64,
Over
so
the
that's
last 10
nestled
minutes,
right now.
12,000 have
We also
sold
get the
into bid in 2015.
20-year gilt yield
Look at that. Yep, that's hard to watch that, but I no way to know who was going to win there. I kind of thought that when they decided that it was going to do something crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they just ticked through it and they bought it right back, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, it's got to be a bit stronger if it sell it any more than they have. The bun needs to keep going down.
Well, the thing is the initial signal that I got at 29.5, I was expecting to get, like, you know, the lows maybe, and it was a trick. It was a bad signal, and they immediately reversed it on me. But then I was able to scratch it, and then I thought, well, look, they're gonna go back and forth here. I don't know which one's gonna win, so I should just take it off. So I kind of knew if one side won, they would get like a stop run of some sort, but it's still hard to watch.
Oh, they came in and sold $9 Eurodollars there. Corresponded with a 26. No, it did not. It did sell $9 Eurodollars. I've noticed orders in Z9 Eurodollars follow the 10-year pretty good. Like typically, if they're selling one, they're selling the other. Buying one, they're buying the other.
Yeah, good grief.
Marching down. Then post a. I mean, they lifted it right back with what 1700. No.
19 now. They're at 01. Jeez, there's a lot of volume there going through.
And they've backed off the offer at 20.
I'm seeing some comments now from US President Trump talking about Nike, saying without offering
See that
any evidence,
lift
this is,
corresponded
he
with
says
a
that Nike is
1400
getting
lot
absolutely
lift
killed with anger
of 1.5.
Did he tweet that? Oh, he did tweet that. I didn't see that. Just like the NFL.
Shares are up 0.23% in early trading there on Wall Street at
Yeah, I bet.
$70.
Just like the NFL, whose ratings have gone way down, Nike is getting absolutely killed with anger and boycotts. I wonder if they have had any idea that it would be this way. As far as the NFL is concerned, I find it hard to watch and always will until they stand for the flag.
Well, we're just tweeting this one out from the data from the US. This is ISM New York business conditions for August. We don't have a forecast for this in July. It leaped up to 75, which was its highest since November 2006, from 55 in June.
Got some old swing lows at 27 and 26 that we can look at if we get to these levels.
Rate narrows further to 248 basis points. That's its tightest in a month.
So now we're getting big absorption at 28.5 again.
So we're 1 minute away now from the ISM New York conditions.
For the last 10 minutes, 10,000 have sold the bid at 19. I mean, at 28.
That one's crazy.
Man, that is a lot that they're.
It is. That is going to be a 10K for sure. Yeah. Yep. It's like anytime that you see an iceberg in this, you can't rely on that for a fade because there's more than enough volume to go through them. It's crazy to think that we could have been short at 20. You could have been short at 20 and never had it come back on you more than 2 ticks. Right? But I missed the 20, and then I took it here, and I said, well, I better take the quick one off of the profile. You know, now maybe if I held that one, I could still be in, but
9,000 since we came back down.
I think that I would wait to take it off until the 5-year looked done. Okay, not quite 10k.
The shares at the moment are certainly negative, but then that's not surprising. We're getting comments here from Senator Mark Warner in telling the Senate Intelligence hearing that he is deeply disappointed that Google did not send top corporate leadership. Warner says that he is skeptical that companies will address foreign interference in US elections using social media, and says that Congress, rather ominously perhaps, Congress is going to have to take action. Shares at the moment down 0.33% at 1,207.
And they got a really fat offer there, 29.
Jeez.
10-year. And 29.5.
See, there was a time where I would just sell this right here. I don't want to. I just don't like the risk reward on it. You know.
Through to 143 even. I think 29 is really important.
Shit, I just pay it. Wasn't even thinking about the fact that we're at 143 even. The 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's too many targets below us. They're gonna want to try and go for them.
It's too steady. Like they keep taking it down. There's no like puke.
Ones and spots in the 10 years since we got down here.
Well, there was that stop run when we hit 29.5 the first time. But yeah, this really looks like the sellers are just completely in control.
Basically, the 4 musketeers bought S&P up, pulled up sharply. Not a good position.
Yeah, the dollar's weak. I don't know, the yen is taking a shit, but that's typical. It's a very old correlation.
I should reset this, but it's been sitting here like this underneath of that iceberg for quite some time now. They're gonna want to try and flush through it. What I would like to see, maybe if we get below 1400 here. Well, too late.
There's a stop
Got a
right.
little bit of puke. Yeah, I'm hitting 29.
I was gonna say is sell limit into it and then buy here at 27.5, but it's already passed.
$10K. 10-year. 11K.
Okay, well, there's the 5-year has hit its target. Well, the low at least.
Yes, coming back to VWAP mid of the pit. Fund is also kind of approaching a vital level here. Or it'll swing low anyway. Yeah, I'd say 159.83 to 159.65 support level.
Block sell.
The largest volume, highest volume hour, single hour, at 183,000 contracts. I'm sorry, 187,000 contracts. Missing the last time.
Yeah, DAX is still. And we're not even getting an uptick on it. So.
Could be this year. Oh, no. Okay, century. Got it. Since February 2nd. This is the largest volume hour. Longest volume in a single hour since February 2nd. The bund.
Maybe I should have just held that short at 29.5, huh? I'm a little too skittish still.
So if we don't tick up from here in the bonds and kind of bailing on this whole market. If this was S&P should reverse.
Traded 31,000 contracts since 8:50. About the last 4 minutes, we've traded 31,000 contracts, and now 35,000. Just in that.
Yeah.
Seeing an 8K offer like that is pretty crazy too.
Part of me wants to buy it down here.
I think you can buy it and risk 3 ticks to make whatever. Probably goes back to the mid if it holds. I don't know, I'm biased though.
And just heads up there at the top of the hour, we get the decision of the central bank in Canada. Remember that a rate
Block
decision
buy.
there expected.
But I wish I had
You
now.
trade like what, 20?
Yeah, too late.
What's that? Sorry, Igor?
You trade like 20 bucks, right?
I mean, I'm sized down right now because of the but
just a 10%
my max size in like the 30 years is 25.
point hike. Perspective. The bank
Reversion, yeah.
remains firmly
If you take that
data
20 and
market
split it
watch
up
mode,
into
says,
one mod,
sorry, I beg your pardon. It says Rabobank
One way to do
in
it.
a search note. The bank
gotta
also
give yourself
says that
like
they continue to
wiggle
highlight
room.
that only raise rates from the market pricing in the prospect of such a move. Also, don't forget that today NAFTA talks resume after
Yeah, I'm
adjournment
definitely
back
a
on Friday.
catcher as she's
That
going
may
kind of
well play into
trader.
some of the developments. That said, Rabobank reckons, frankly, not a lot's going to get sorted out. They say
It
we
looks
don't
like the
expect
bund could be
long,
respecting this.
long trilateral talks here. Don't expect
The
this
port area.
debate to be pulled out for all it's worth, but at the same time, don't expect a conclusive outcome.
Yeah, it's been weird listening to you because those were all the trades that I used to take, and I kind of backed off it for a while because it just didn't work for such a long time, and now all of a sudden it's working like every time, and I'm like, oh, I just should push it. Come on, man. This is just crazy action there.
Right. Yeah, this, if I do play mean reversion, I just size down. Like a lot. So that I can give it a bunch of wiggle room, but I don't know, I'm just not good at pinpointing stuff like that.
Yeah,
Fucking pain in the ass, man. But trust me. Bought 06s with 2s yesterday. Bought again. Trying to trade for time frame back up. S&P is trading back to the pit, so, and we're not seeing any.
Decision. Dominic Raab says that the government is clear that if we want to resolve the question of the Irish border, the Chequers Brexit plan is the most effective way of doing that. So far, not drawn on those reports we saw from being around from Bloomberg and FT.
Wow. Yes, selling a net 5,000 contracts over the last 5 minutes.
oops. Oops. I'm gonna put it like this. There we go.
That's unchanged. Says recent data reinforces its assessment that higher rates will be warranted to achieve inflation target. The BOC says we will continue to take a gradual approach guided by incoming data. Bank of Canada says although July CPI inflation was higher than expected, it should move back towards 2% in early 2019. It says core inflation measures remain firmly around 2%, consistent with an economy that has been operating near capacity for some time. The BOC says elevated trade tensions remain a key risk to the global outlook and are pulling some commodity prices lower. Also says Canadian economy is evolving closely in line with the bank's July MPR projection for growth to average near potential. Says recent data on global economy has been consistent with bank's July predictions. Says the US economy is particularly robust. BOC says Canadian GDP expected to slow temporarily in the third quarter, mainly due to further fluctuations in energy output and exports. Says it is gauging economy's reaction to higher rates, also looking closely at NAFTA talks and other trade policy developments and their impact on the inflation outlook. We have a full report from the BOC as well as the CAD movement, right?
I don't think I've got the right spot.
Great, CAD there trading flat after rates left unchanged.
I'm surprised the Eplex hasn't got a little bit more of an uptick.
Yeah, I mean, that blowback low is about to break, and this actually.
This might have to do with what we were talking yesterday about it's possible that people are buying the foreign bonds now because the US Fed is too hawkish.
Look at the EQB, it's up another 34.
So now the Canadian dollar
Or Bitcoin.
touching $1.3166 to the greenback.
Yeah, I noticed cryptocurrencies
After
are
the
getting shit on
BOC
this
rate
morning.
decision left unchanged.
Ethereum's down like 12% or something like that. It was the last thing I saw.
Yeah, there was a couple of margin longs tried taking a trade yesterday to bust it above 7,500, and as soon as they did, the sellers came in and smacked them hard. And the futures all look short, and I've noticed that when it looks like the futures are going short, that it tends to just go the same direction through the whole contract. So well, nobody's really selling into 27.5 there in the 10-year. I don't know. I think though that we would need to get like a higher low to really give buyers confidence.
Yeah, it's just every time they've lifted 28s, they've just immediately
Share price of Twitter
it,
now down
like, just
4%. Twitter's CEO Dorsey says the company has stepped up a campaign against fake accounts. Now dealing with 530,000 suspicious logins each day. That's twice as many as it was detecting a year ago.
Wow.
Basically, everything's tracking each other very well this morning. Crude and gold are very correlated off the open. S&Ps. Fixed income is just pushed off the open. Levels here are kind of important on a higher time. You start to trade back above 143 in the 30-year. Have a little bit more. Break below 28. I'm out of my trade for
Just not so sure I can take a trade here. I mean, I would like to, but I think it needs to come back a little bit more for me to be able to go long. So I may want to wait, see if they make it back to the VWAP and try a bounce trade there. Or just be happy with 2 ticks. I don't know. I don't know. It's pretty hard to see that and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I still do keep a 10-minute chart for a big picture. I'm just reading what you guys are talking about on YouTube. Well, the thing that I think sets the DOM apart, because I don't know, it's kind of hard, but there's definitely a game and there's definitely some consistency in how the game is played. The problem is just that. Oh, hold up.
Risk of policy error if the Fed continues to raise short-term interest rates. Bullard says there's ample cushion already for Fed to deal with the next US economic downturn. Remember that very much from St. Louis is as a dub on the
Okay. So at least one person is concerned that everybody else is being more dovish than us.
He's not a voter this year. He's back as a voter. That's Bullard next year, 2019.
Anyways, there's definitely a game that's played here, right? But the problem is that the side that wins changes, right? And but
he says best guess is that the yield curve will invert later this year or 2019.
Oh geez, I hope not. Please no. But the thing with the DOM.
He also says, however, that the yield curve inversion is only meaningful if sustained.
Oh, okay. So the thing with the DOM is that the DOM is really the only way to see the game and which side is winning, you know? So even though if I see an imbalance, I you know, of course, I find that there are some edges that if you take it, you have a better chance of getting a good risk reward and everything like that. But on any single one, that's, you know, it really can go either way. And even the ones that I find have edge, it's still like 50-50 in terms of probability, and it's just that you get more than you lose, right? So
crude breaking down is pretty good for bonds.
The DOM is the only way that you can see the trading metagame. You know what I mean? Like, are we breaking through icebergs or are we not? That sort of a thing. And it's hard to predict it ahead of time and every time, but there is a metagame to it, and the traders play it, these switches. And I think that to be a discretionary trader and to stay profitable over the long term was like, who was saying, you know, that I think it was Zerv that was saying in the channel that, you know, it's hard for one strategy to remain profitable for a very long period of time, right? So you've got to be able to have multiple strategies and to know when to use which one based on how the metagame is changing. So I would say, for instance, just the one that I missed here was down here at 27 when there was a block buy and a block sell. That was a pretty good pivot point that you could have taken for potentially 4 ticks, 3 to 4 ticks that I should have taken. And the meta has been that there's just one block, and if they bought down here, then maybe it would stop. But now we had a situation where there was 2. It was a little bit different. And are you able to guess based off of that? You know, I wasn't. I was like, well, that's too weird for me. I don't know what it's going to do. But if you looked at that and you said, oh, okay, there's 2 guys here, but it's still going to reverse. Good. That's what I think will separate you in the long run. And that's why I think the DOM is important. So you can't get that any other method. You're not going to see, you don't see what's truly going on. You're getting some high level abstraction that doesn't give you the real picture.
Or from Ballard saying that US central bank's balance sheet shrinking faster as percentage of US GDP. He says it may be timely for policymakers to revisit the issue of Fed's balance sheet size. And he says he's downplaying also the elevated level of Fed funds rates, citing specific market factors.
Well, his comments are kind of really interesting and kind of bother me. Because he's saying, hey, it doesn't need to reach all low. Or rather, interest rates don't need to be that high. And he's saying that we've already gone too far and that the yield curve is going to invert, but that if it just kind of inverts and doesn't stay there, then it's okay. Yeah. If you can consistently make 1 tick on ZB trading a 1K account, yes. You just got to remember, and you, as I understand it, it does meet this level, but in order to really make money on a 1 ticker like that, you've got to be hitting 70 to 80%. If you're just hitting 50 to 60%, you're going to lose on commission.
Is breaking down.
Man, look at that. Oh, what is going on in the E-mini?
Got a 77 quarter as a potential target.
Okay. So we're kind of seeing a couple of interesting things here on the down now. You get this. You get this. So this one, I'm not, I mean, that one's been there for a while. So they might try and stop it there. 120 is too high. It's above the VWAP. So how are they going to stop it from getting to the VWAP? That would be interesting. Uzi says he's at 82.56. The good thing that I like with this market is you can make a limit you want with 2 or even 1 tick if you are consistent in trade size. Well, sure, yeah.
Well, currently on Capitol Hill, of course, the tech bosses are talking to lawmakers, and among them is Twitter's Dorsey, CEO there. He's just said we're identifying and challenging 8 to 10 million suspicious accounts every week, and we're thwarting over 500,000 accounts from logging into Twitter every single day. The shares are down around 5%.
Well, everything is down. Come on. Okay, so there's nothing really there at 30 anymore. We did reset things though. This is still here, right?
Now we're trading back above yesterday as well. Today can be an important day if we really reverse here. Good.
Well, the E-mini is just...
From Fed's Ballard says recent US-Mexico deal on bilateral issues is a positive development.
I think E-mini needs to get below 80 for anything super crazy to really happen. Well, the volume sure looks like a full-on reversal.
Another step. Iceberg.
Okay, well that was fast, but there's 2880.
Both 3 icebergs. Okay. They lifted over these. Sevens. More or less to hedge my.
Okay, so we did make it back to the VWAP. So that's where I was saying I didn't have the risk reward to buy it, but I think they might get back to the VWAP is right. Should have just taken it, but that's fine. Now it's ranging here, so it's telling me that I could take 30.5.
At last week's low in the ES at 76.75. Watching that, and then I don't know, maybe 68.50 is value area high
This big order at the 120 kind of concerns me.
this week.
You notice that when it reversed, that it showed up.
Max hasn't even gotten below the ERX yet.
Okay, there's a big order down here in the E-mini at 77.
5 ticks off the ERX.
Next, we need to add in some dish soap. I'm using Dawn. All of that should work too.
Got filled on tiny lot in S&P half.
I need a bigger water bottle, guys. You'd be surprised how much simply limiting how many trades you place affects your win-loss percent. Oh yeah. Well, I think the thing is that you're gonna have a system that maybe has some edge, but then the place where you really start to get efficient is when you realize when it doesn't work and you filter those trades out, and then your win rate just gets better and better and better. That and optimizing your positioning, but if you're only taking one tick, that's not necessarily a thing, is it?
Trying to sell that one I got at 29 for the year. Fives.
Okay.
Food is getting smoked. Another bottom.
Well, I see the fade at 30.5, but this one doesn't feel right, so I'm not going to take it. I'm going to wait for ZB to pop up.
Well, following that Bank of Canada no change on rates, just looking at some of the commentary online, and one that stands out is the odds for a September hike were running at around 18% just before decision. from the OIS metrics. Now for October, they're pricing in 61.2%. That's according to the website Forex Flow.
Sure. I mean, no.
I'm only take this if it goes 1, 2. If it ticks back down again, I'll take it. Okay, well that was a pretty, I liked that down tick. Okay, there's one tick.
How they're going to deal with this is and walk away for a little bit. Back in. Bonds are back at the lows then. I'm holding on to that E-mini I bought. Just see what happens.
Okay. That bird today, good grief, you hear that? When he goes, wah, 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 that's like frustrated bird. Why are they pulling at 30.5? Kim Kardashian is back at the White House today? Oh man. Keeps flipping here. Well, that sucks that I didn't get more than a tick out of that. It says that it was favorable too, but I wouldn't have gotten filled at 2. I could have taken 1 off of it. It's 80% 1, it's 60% 2. Didn't quite go. And when it came back and I saw a iceberg in there, that's, you got to get back out of it. So yeah, unfortunate, but that's how it goes. It's still a good trade. Man. So market replay not very precise. Yeah, I've never tried it, but my conclusion from listening to other people is that doing the market replay is just not worth the hassle. So if you want to practice on old action, well, let me back up. The thing is that there's always people that want to say, well, I just want to practice during this time, and so they want to use the market replay, and it's just not the same thing, because so much of your trading, I mean, I know it sounds silly, but it makes such a huge impact. It's probably the biggest thing that you can do. Comes down to like your routine and everything like that, right? You wake up, you shower, you eat, you have the certain times you come in, you look at the stuff, and that puts you in a certain frame of mind, and you've got to practice that, you know. And so from my perspective, market replay, being able to trade at a different time than when the market is useless. Now, if you really want to study the order flow as it happened, like if you saw a trade and you want to look at it again, you're better off using video at that point, because it's much more accurate, and the market replay doesn't quite catch the dance that you see in the level 2 the same way. So that's the main reason why I record this, because heavens knows I'm not some amazing trader with some great edge to share with the world, right? It's just a lot easier for me to stream it and save it on YouTube than it is to save it on my machine. And if I'm gonna stream it, then I might as well stream it because you guys are fun. So yeah, just rewatch the videos. Bum, 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 some trading or replay trading. Sure.
DAX really close to 12K.
And the nice thing about the video is you can speed things up, right? You can watch it at like 2 times speed. In the YouTube player, you just press, I think it's like Control right caret bracket, and you can speed it up to 2 times, I think. Okay, well, I'm going to post my Bitcoin charts here.
Now hearing from NHC saying that Olivia has now weakened to a Category 2 hurricane.
A little bit of an iceberg bid at 5. They tried to sell through quite a bit. Tried to sell 100 lot and 2 were bid.
Okay, well, I'm just sitting here watching this, and I mean, we're right there at the 120. So
Oil's ticking up a little bit, and S&P seems to be holding this area.
I'm wondering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't think that's quite accurate, but I don't think I'm going to take another trade. I suppose you could sell at 31.5, but this kind of looks like there was a big move and they're done. So on this trade, I mean, I think that these were okay the way that I played them, but in the future when we really start getting, and I guess the volume didn't really come in until we were below 29.5, did it? But I think next time we get one like that, we really need to push it, right? Because it's not going to work out long term if we're only taking 2 ticks off of those. We need to get 3 ticks at least.
Some news now saying Italy unlikely to get the chair of ECB's banking supervision, and Ireland's Donnery is seen as a front runner for the job, according to Reuters sources.
Yeah, you want to know what a losing trade looks like in the flow, yeah. Anyways, let's see. I mean, this conversation that we're having in the Discord about indicators is interesting, but I don't agree with that one. that all indicators reflect what happened in level 2. How so? I'll ask you how so. You answer. When I get into work, we'll talk about it later. But I should get going. So fun trading today. Tomorrow's going to be really interesting. If we get back up into this area, like here we are. If we open up anywhere above well, there's a 120 right there. So I'm going to say anywhere above 285. You know, I think we could get ranging or longs. So
UF is 85.50. Mid is what, 86.25. Right? Yeah, 86.
I mean, it could be wrong, but what we saw there may have been a significant reversal. Okay, I